We're back for Your Ears Only. I'm David Alpern.
I'm Melissa Exelberth with a quote from the news. You mean I have to have all my kids when I'm 20 and stupid? That was Evan Eichler, a professor of genome sciences at the University of Washington in Seattle, on likely male reaction to a new study showing autism and schizophrenia increasingly likely with older fathers because harmful mutations increase with age. Advanced age of the mother was apparently not a factor. Now this.
In the United States, West Nile virus has spread from coast to coast. It affects the old, the young, and everyone in between. It's still a risk for serious disease. Your best defense against mosquito-borne viruses and other insect-borne disease is simply being prepared.
The calm tone of that Centers for Disease Control video contrasts dramatically with widespread battles against West Nile virus that has reached record proportions across the United States, but most concentrated in Texas this year. Nationwide, more than 40 people already have died from the disease, and the number of cases has just about doubled in a week to more than 1,100.
For a fuller update for Your Ears Only, we go to Alex Nussbaum, health reporter at Bloomberg News in New York, where the disease is just beginning to hit. Welcome to our program, Alex.
Hi, thanks for having me.
First, tell us, how long has the virus been a threat in the United States? I don't seem to remember it earlier than maybe 9-10 years ago.
That's right. The first case was confirmed in the U.S. in 1999 in New York City, as a matter of fact, and since then it's spread to every other state except for Hawaii and Alaska.
Where did it come from and how does it spread?
West Nile was first identified in the 1930s in the West Nile section of Uganda, hence its name. And since then it's spread to much of the rest of the world, in Africa, West Asia, and most of North America. And it's spread to humans by mosquito bites. The mosquitoes get it by biting birds and then bite humans, and that's how it's transmitted.
Cases have been reported in almost every state, but talk about how much heavier the concentration is in Texas.
Right. In Texas, they've got about half of the cases that have been reported so far this year, about 650 at last count. And Texas has about twice as many as the next state, Mississippi. About 75% of the cases have been concentrated in just 5 states, Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Dakota, and Oklahoma, areas in the center of the country where we've had a lot of the very hot weather that we've all been talking about for the past few months, which scientists think is helping both the virus and the mosquito population develop.
And you report that very local geographical differences can be a big factor in whether West Nile settles in.
Sure, that's right. So obviously warm weather helps the mosquito population grow. It speeds up their life cycle. Scientists say it also may speed up the development of the virus as well. You need a wet area as well to help breed the mosquitoes. But experts say that that can fool people. Even in areas where we've had drought this year, there may still be underground sources of water, for example, sewage systems where mosquitoes can grow, and the smaller ponds of water may become stagnant more quickly, and that also boosts the mosquito population. It's a good environment for them to grow in. So even in dry areas like we're seeing now, you can see a bigger population, which leads to more West Nile.
We are hitting a record in the number of cases, but what about the severity of cases? There's still a relatively few number of deaths.
That's right. About 40 deaths right now, even as we're reaching a record number of cases of West Nile. People should keep in mind that, according to the CDC, only 1 out of 5 people who are infected will develop any symptoms, and those are usually pretty mild, things like headache, fever, maybe muscle aches. And only a very small number of people, about 1 in 150, the experts say, may get more serious neurological symptoms, which can go up to coma, tremors, or convulsions. But again, those are very rare for the most part.
Well, how are those who get sick treated, and how effective is the treatment?
Well, in the most serious cases, people may get encephalitis or meningitis, inflammation of the brain and the spinal cord. And those people are going to be hospitalized, treated with anti-inflammatory medicines, given fluids to make sure they're hydrated. And the best numbers are that perhaps 10% of people that progress to that stage may not survive. But again, when you look at the total number of people infected, that's probably about 0.1%, so it's still a small number.
What about pesticides? Are more areas sending up planes to spray against mosquitoes or planning to this year?
It seems that they are. The Centers for Disease Control does not track the number of places that are spraying, since those are usually locally or state-run efforts. But areas that have been spraying for quite a number of years are still going to be spraying, and in some areas where they're seeing the high numbers, as in Dallas, Texas, for example, they are starting to spray now. And mosquito control officials that we talked to said they expect more states and more localities to follow suit.
Many believe the pesticides are more dangerous than the disease, saying they harm pets, tots, and the rest of us. What's the evidence or professional opinion on that?
Well, the pesticide that's being used in a place like Dallas, where it has been very controversial, is called the synthetic pyrethroid. It mimics a natural compound that's found in chrysanthemums, and it is approved by the EPA. The EPA says it's okay as long as you don't directly swallow the pesticide, which few people are going to. There are some doctors in the Dallas area that have warned people with asthma or other respiratory ills to stay indoors or even to get out of the area if they're particularly sensitive. But for the most part, the officials and scientists seem to think that it's worth whatever risk there is right now because of the danger of the virus.
Given the effectiveness of the spraying and the other treatments that you talked about, is there any effort being made on vaccines or other preventive therapies?
Yes. People have been working on vaccines for years now. Nothing has been developed yet. And the CDC and other agencies still say that the best way to prevent West Nile is to prevent mosquito bites, to stay inside at dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are most likely to be biting, to use some type of bug spray to protect yourself, to wear long-sleeve shirts when you have to be outside. So prevention seems to be the best method right now.
Thank you, Alex. Alex Nussbaum is health correspondent at Bloomberg News in New York.
Quote from the news, "If I was still a young man, I'd be doing it too." That was Gordon Fleming, a retired civil engineer from Scotland, on new naked pictures of Britain's Prince Harry on a recent trip to Las Vegas.
Next, don't forget the displaced, and not only in Syria, for your ears only.